Hi guys, welcome back. So in this video here, I'm going to start this video by answering two irrelevant questions that have nothing to do with this video, but since this video is kind of based on answering questions, I'm just going to answer two of them. And the first one is, a lot of people ask me, hey John, why do you wear sunglasses on your videos? Is it because you think you look cool? No. The reason why I wear sunglasses is because my eyes are very sensitive to bright light, sun, and even like this morning, it's 45 degrees, there's no wind. It's pretty comfortable, but it has that little darkish grayish, like little thing to it, like it just bothers my eyes. So it has nothing to do with being cool and none of that. It's my eyes are sensitive to light. So that answers that one about the sunglasses. And the other question, John, you all of a sudden stopped uploading videos to YouTube. Well, I'll give you the answer to that as well. Is several weeks ago I uploaded a video that perhaps didn't sit very well with certain folks or group of people, and my uploading privileges came to a little halt. So the question has been thrown at me quite a few times, whether it's through family, friends, people on YouTube or on Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram. Is they say, John, you know, I try to start my seeds indoors like you do, and it seems that I'm not successful or have as much success as you do. What am I doing wrong? As much as I try to explain to them what they, what they might be doing wrong, it kind of still doesn't register with them. I don't know if it's the way I'm explaining it to them. That's why I'm doing this video, which is what I'm going to call the stage one, which is the equipment that I personally use for my seed starting here at the Will It Grow channel and my home. Everything that I'm going to show you here is 100% what I use. So instead of me explaining, I came to realize is the reason why a lot of people are probably not as successful as seed starting. I think it comes down to is they don't have the right equipment to properly get their seeds to germinate and to flourish and to actually grow the transplantable seedlings. Not that they don't have the knowledge. I think has a little bit more to do with they just don't have the right equipment. So I'm going to give you a full rundown of everything I use. Number one thing I use that I believe that is extremely important in order to be successful is you need some kind of seed starting mix. That's very important because seed starting mix, you can't, it's very fluffy. If you could see that, it's very, very fluffy. And what's most important is that seed starting mix, it actually doesn't hold on to water very well. It gets moist, but it allows the water to go through it very well. I would not recommend trying to start seeds indoors with, dirt from your backyard or even compost, because dirt is very, very hard, and it's very hard for a little seed to penetrate through that hard dirt. You have to picture it in your mind. But this stuff, seed starting, is very fluffy and it doesn't hold on to too much water, as compost is a little bit looser than dirt, but compost does hold on to a lot of moisture and water. And what can happen there is your seed will actually rot if you're not watering properly. And we can all overwater, trust me. Your seed will rot in the soil before it actually has a chance to germinate. So, number one thing, invest in some seed starting mix. Okay, and number two, The one thing obviously you're going to need is you're going to need some kind of pots. In my case, I use a lot of recycled pots. It just so happens one of my brothers is a landscaper, and he has plenty of pots that, you know, he plants at his customers' houses, and then instead of throwing them in the trash, I grab it from him, I recycle them. All different size pots for different stages of the seedling. Of course, these are the most common that everybody should have for seed starting is these here. And then, you know, as you up pot, if you choose to, you're going to need some other different types of containers. Not necessary. This is not necessary. These right here are not necessary, but definitely for sure you should invest. These are very, very, very cheap. You can get them really cheap on any place online, Amazon, anything. So this is very important. That's number 2, is having the right pots for different stages. Number 3, one of the other things I also use a lot is 1020 trays. Got a whole bunch of them here. These don't have holes on the bottom, and there's a reason that I use these 1020 trays, because it just so happens that these are made to hold these. And the reason why they don't have holes on the bottom is because I do not like to water my seedlings from the top. I don't like to do that. I like is to water is I simply, you know, dump the water in here. I'd say about 1/4 of an inch. And then I let the water wick up from the bottom. The soil will wick up the water, and that's plenty of water for those little seedlings to have just enough moisture for those little roots to drink just enough. Are you with me so far, guys? The most important things are coming up. So far what I've showed you is just simple little things. Also, don't forget, I am an associate with Amazon, and I do have an Amazon store, and pretty much everything that I'm showing you here, I do sell it through my Amazon store. The link is in the description box below. Click on that link, and if you decide you want to purchase any of this through my link, it does give me a little bit of a kickback where, you know, I can buy some new camera equipment. Maybe one day I'll be able to afford an actual camera instead of using my cell phone. One of the other things I use that is very, very important is you need grow lights. I use grow lights because I found out the hard way that even though you don't need them, grow lights make a huge difference on your success rate. You know, I have all different types of grow lights. Like, these are really cheap, and they do work. You can see the name there if you're interested. I also have these on Amazon on my store, and they connect to different configurations. They connect to each other, and I think these are only like 20 bucks per set. And then you got these. I also use these 4-foot grow light strips. These work really great. These are also very affordable. And this one here is a very expensive light, and I do not use this for seed starting, but since I'm talking about lights, I figure I would just show it. But this is a very powerful light, and I use this one mainly is in the winter time when I'm growing indoors. Is basically to grow a plant to its full maturity, whether it's lettuce or pepper plants or tomato plants. This light here has the potential, well, more than the potential, to grow anything from seedling all the way up to full maturity, whereas these are more for the little seedlings. Once again, all of this is on my Amazon store if you guys are interested, but you definitely, I would recommend that you have some sort of light. So guys, are you with me so far? Things are about to get a little bit heated, and for a lot of you, I'm pretty sure you know what's coming next. Also, if you guys are enjoying this video, please do me a favor and help out the channel by clicking that thumbs up button down there below. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it if you did. It's free. That little subscribe button right down there, you can click that as well. And at the end of the video, watch all the way through, because I am going to show you one thing that is an absolute game changer when it comes to starting seeds indoors. I think you'll like it, so keep watching the video. Now this thing here is it makes a big difference. When I started using these about 4 years ago, is just a little, cement tub. This is, you buy this at Home Depot or Lowe's. It's just a little cement tub. They make bigger ones, but I find this size for what I do is perfect. This is where you can actually, basically, you put in your seed starting mix, you dump it in there, and I always like to moisten with hot water. I'll dump, 2-3 bags, or if it's a bigger bag, I'll dump my seed starting mix into this tub, and I will simply, and then I'll water it, and then I'll let it cool off a little bit, let the soil get hydrated with the water, and then this way it makes it a lot better, because this seed starting mix is so dry that if you don't water it beforehand and make sure it's moist, then it's going to the water's just going to keep running through it. So that's why one of these cement tubs. Is this necessary? No, it's not necessary, but it's something I do use, and for me it makes a big difference in the speed and in efficiency. Okay, and finally, the very last thing that I find it's very, very important in order for you to have success in seed starting indoors in your own home is a heat mat. I think it's absolutely necessary for you to have a heat mat, or if you want to increase your chances of being successful, you should definitely have a heat mat. I'm actually a little aggravated. I looked for about 15-20 minutes for my heat mats. I actually have 2 of them, and I couldn't find a single one of them. But nonetheless, I'll try to figure out a way to copy something, a picture of it online, and try to post it on this video. I'm not that savvy with editing and none of that crap, but nonetheless, a heat mat. Well, John, why do you need a heat mat? Well, simple. Your soil, your seed starting soil, needs to be a certain temperature. Seeds need the soil to be to a certain temperature, like between most vegetables between 75 and 80 degrees for that soil to be warm. So if you try to start seeds in the soils, 55, 60 degrees, the seeds are just not going to germinate. Unless it's like maybe lettuce seeds or spinach seeds, or broccoli or cauliflower and stuff, cold season crops. Yeah, you might get away with that. But, especially for peppers and chili peppers especially need the heat, the soil to be extremely hot, and tomatoes and all that stuff. So invest in a heat mat. That right there will be a game changer. So it really comes down to 3 key things. Is the soil that you start with is very important, seed starting mix, or you could even go to a very fluffy potting mix. There is a difference between the two. I'm not going to get into it on this video. A heat mat to get that seed starting mix up to temperature, and of course grow lights is also very important to produce a very, very healthy. Now the grow lights have nothing to do with germination. Let's keep that in mind. The grow lights should only be used is once your seedlings actually perk through the soil and you start to see them. Then the grow lights are important. But beforehand, the grow lights are not necessary. And finally, guys, I actually had to zoom out a little bit. This is the bonus that I think will make a big difference, is one of these. This thing is pretty big. I forget the exact dimensions, but that is big. What that is something I started using 2 years ago, and that is a dog kennel. It goes inside of a big dog kennel, and you can buy these separately. I actually have them on my Amazon store. And the reason why I use this is a lot of people, you know, they get discouraged. And if you tried starting seeds indoors, you know, if you don't have the right setup, you know, you want to try to raise seeds in, you know, your kitchen table and or your countertop, or even on the floor in your living room, and you know, you make a mess with the potting soil and all that stuff. Well, investing in one of these, I promise you, will be a game changer. And I'll give you an example here in about a second. I mean, just look. This is the basics that I use it for, is when I am doing seed starting. And not only that, is once, look at all the 10-20 trays you can hold. I mean, this thing is pretty big. And when you're watering, even indoors, if you're watering, whether you water on top, which I don't recommend, but let's say your 10-20 trays, you got this thing full of 10-20 trays or pots, doesn't matter. When you're watering, you don't have to worry about water dripping on the floor or on your carpet. I mean, you could actually have this on the floor, on top of your carpet in the living room, and you can easily water or start your seed starts. And you know, it has a lip, about I'd say a 1-inch lip, where the water is going to stay in here if you overspill, that is. I'm not saying use this as a bottom watering tray like I have here. This is just an example. You know, of course, I'd have my 10-20 tray in here. Now, I can comfortably work where I don't have to worry about making a mess. Any dirt that's going to fall is going to fall in there. Then I simply take it outside. I shake out the dirt, the water, whatever. I put a hose to it, wash it, and it's brand new. It's all nice and clean, as you can see. So, guys, if you don't want to make a mess, or if you get discouraged from starting seeds indoors because you're scared or you don't want to bother with cleaning a mess, I would recommend you invest in one of these. That right there, yeah, it's a little pricey. I think it's like $50. But that's an investment that you're going to use for as long as you want. And you can use it for a lot of different things, not just seed starting, but having one of these, I think, will be a game changer for you, because it certainly was for me. Well, there you go, folks. I want to thank you for spending the time with me, and to all the channel members. Also, I have not forgotten about you. Thank you. I appreciate your support for being a member and a sponsor of the Will It Grow channel. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it any way helpful, giving the video a thumbs up certainly helps a lot. And if you think someone else that doesn't necessarily come on YouTube, please feel free to share this video to your other social media. That really helps out the channel, helps new people come to the channel, and we move forward with that. So, till next time, all of you stay safe.